So, picture this. It's Coachella. For Justin Bieber, this is a huge deal. It's not just another performance, it's a massive comeback on one of the world's biggest stages. But it turns out the entire weekend, all the hype, it would all boil down to just one single split-second moment at the barricade. A moment that would absolutely ignite a firestorm online. After his set, Bieber did what you see a lot of artists do. He went to the people who got him there in the first place. He moves right up to the barricade to connect with his believers. He's trying to create one of those really electric, unforgettable moments that make live shows so special. And then, in just an instant, that whole vibe just shifted. What was supposed to be this moment of real connection turned into something totally different. Something awkward, uncomfortable, and for a lot of people, just completely out of line. Okay, so what actually went down? Let's get right into it and break down the incident at the barricade that sparked such an insane debate online. So if you've seen the footage, you know what I'm talking about. There's this fan in a cowboy hat, and she reaches out from the crowd. But look, her hand doesn't go for his arm or his shoulder. It goes straight for his crotch. People who were there said she appeared to grab him, and you can see Justin's reaction is immediate. He throws his arm down to block her. It's fast.
Right, and that reaction wasn't something he thought about. It was pure instinct. That's what we mean by visceral. It's a gut reaction to protect himself. And that physical recoil, that split-second move, it really says everything about how unwelcome that interaction was. Justin's reaction was instant, for sure, but the online reaction, that was even faster. As soon as the footage hit the internet, his fan base, the believers, just unleashed this massive wave of outrage all over social media.
You could just feel the sense of betrayal from the fans. Their thinking was, he was there for us, for the true believers. And they saw this as a total violation, not just of him, but of the trust that exists between an artist and their most loyal supporters.
And for his fans, this was about more than just a physical boundary. It was about basic respect for him as a human being and for his marriage. And what made it even worse for them was that his wife, Hailey Bieber, was literally right there watching the whole thing happen.
And this is where you kind of have to zoom out a little. Fans were quick to point out, look, this isn't some one-off thing. They see it as part of this long, frustrating pattern of people feeling like they're entitled to his body and his personal space, something he's been dealing with since he was just a kid. For a lot of them, this was years of frustration just boiling over. And if you want to understand the dedication we're talking about, just think about this. Some of the people at that barricade had waited 10 hours. 10 hours just to get that spot. It really puts into perspective how one person's terrible decision can completely taint an experience that other people sacrificed so much for. But pretty quickly, the conversation started to get bigger than just outrage. It sparked this much deeper debate about consent, about boundaries, and about a pretty big double standard people see in how we treat male and female celebrities. This right here became the central question blowing up online. If a male fan did this exact same thing to a female artist, would the reaction have been the same? And it's a question that really forces you to check some of your own assumptions. I mean, the argument goes like this. A guy doing this would probably be snatched up by security in a second and publicly shamed. But when the roles are flipped, the whole thing often gets downplayed or even laughed off, and the male artist is almost just expected to take it. It's a really stark and, frankly, troubling comparison when you lay it all out. But here's the thing. The story of that night isn't just about violation. It's also about connection. In fact, a totally different fan interaction from that very same moment paints a completely different picture. It's so important to remember why Bieber even went to the barricade in the first place. He was looking for a positive moment. And you know what? In the middle of all that chaos, he found one. This proves he wasn't rejecting his fans, he was rejecting a specific, invasive behavior. In another clip from that same time, you can see him spot a different fan, and he reaches for her, and he pulls her in for a hug. The invitation came from him, see? This was that mutual, respectful connection he was actually looking for, a total 180 from the other incident. But honestly, the moment from that night that people talked about the most, it didn't even happen at the barricade. It happened up on stage, in what a lot of people are calling a true moment of healing. So during his performance of One Less Lonely Girl, the song he always sings to a fan, a surprise guest appears on stage, and it's Billie Eilish.
Now, if you know anything about Billie, you know she wasn't just another celebrity in the crowd. She was famously one of the biggest believers on the entire planet when she was growing up.
But get this, it wasn't even planned. The original idea was for Justin to serenade his wife, Hailey. But at the very last second, Hailey herself pushes a totally surprised Billie Eilish towards the stage instead. So Justin serenades his own superfan, and you could just feel the weight of that history in the crowd. It was this powerful full circle moment for both of them. Just incredible. And Hailey's part in all of this did not go unnoticed. I mean, after having to see that really ugly moment at the barricade, watching her turn around and create this beautiful, supportive moment for another woman, people saw that as incredibly generous. A total girl's girl move.
And this right here is why that moment hit so hard. For those few minutes, she wasn't the global superstar Billie Eilish. She was just teenage Billie, a fan living out her absolute wildest dream. It was just this pure, genuine moment of fandom, the complete and total opposite of what happened at the barricade. So when you look back, Justin Bieber's Coachella performance really became this perfect snapshot of modern celebrity. It showed us the absolute best of fandom, that healing, incredible, full circle connection, and the absolute worst, a complete violation of personal space. In a world where fans feel closer to artists than ever before, it really leaves us all with one critical question. Where exactly is the line between devotion and violation?